Hello, twisted humans.
Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alecia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked.
Welcome to Twisted and Uncorked. This is episode 72.
Woohoo!
Now who's rhyming?
Oh, no. That was not a rhyme. That did not mean to be a rhyme.
It counts. It counts. I'm counting it.
Before we start, can we just shout out and say thank you to Allie Fluffer for our first ever 1-star review?
Oh, no.
It's okay, though. Listen, here's the thing. We take criticism very well, as long as it's constructive.
Yes.
I'd like to think that most of you would listen to more than one episode before reviewing and realize that everything in the review is wrong. However, or only, is indicative of one episode. But
yes.
Anyway, I think this is a good time to let our listeners know that we're going to start reading our reviews at the end. That way we can get right to the gory stuff. So that is, thank you, Allie Fluffer, for pointing that out. And, we did that one time, maybe twice. I don't know.
I think we've done it maybe in 6 episodes because we save all of our reviews. So.
Exactly. And I'm now realizing that's probably a bad idea to do a bunch of them all at once, with Allie Fluffer's 1-star review. But anyway, we'll do it all at once at the end. So if you do leave a review and you want to hear us shout out your name and thank you, just listen to the end.
Mm-hmm. And we'll do the draw for the review winner for a free month of Patreon at the end of this episode as well. So you're going to have to stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
And that is not a bribe. It's an incentive because doing a review takes time out of your guys' day. And we really appreciate that.
Exactly. We want to reward you for supporting us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. Fun facts.
My fun fact is super weird and lighthearted and also kind of gross because today's episode is a little bit of a bummer, but tablecloths were originally designed to be used as one big communal napkin. When they were first invented, guests were meant to wipe their hands and faces on a tablecloth after a messy dinner party, and then that tablecloth would subsequently be washed. But now they're more used as a decorative measure, and we use napkins. So,
I don't know if I hate it or I love it. Because I am all about reduce, reuse, recycle.
Me too. So you're not using a napkin.
Yeah.
Can you just get a dark tablecloth, though? Because, if you eat spaghetti for dinner, that's going to show up on your white tablecloth.
Right. If it's a black one.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Also, if it shows up, who cares?
Well, because then when you put it on your table for the next dinner party...
Oh, well, you
people are going to
see
mouth... Yeah. People are going to see mouth prints and be like, I don't want to wipe my face on this.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. I thought so, too.
Still don't know if I love it or I hate it.
Well, you can give us an update at the end of the episode, how you're feeling about tablecloth napkins.
Communal napkins.
Separate, though, tablecloths that you can color on, those are my favorite kind at restaurants.
I agree.
So much fun.
They are the most wasteful thing.
Yeah, that's true. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I thought about what was wrong with it. And
yeah. They're fun, for sure.
They are fun.
But also, they just rip them off and throw them away. And I'm like, I hope that's going in the recycling bin.
Doubtful at a restaurant. Restaurants recycle. God.
Well, it's hard when there's food on it.
I know. I'm just hoping that the leader of every restaurant in the world listens to our podcast and will be like, yeah, I should recycle.
The restaurant monopoly man.
Yeah, exactly.
My fun fact is a little bit of self-promotion. So it's kind of fun. The inventor of the Lincoln Log was actually John Lloyd Wright, Frank Lloyd Wright's son. The Lincoln Log was designed after the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo, which Frank Lloyd Wright designed. He wanted to make a little, replica type thing of how you can create that, and it became the Lincoln Logs.
That's so cool.
That is so cool, and that's self-promotion because I just did a really cool episode for the month of June's bonus on Patreon, $5, based on the Frank Lloyd Wright Love Cottage Massacre, referred to in an episode of Gilmore Girls.
We know that a lot of you love Gilmore Girls because you all commented that, so go check it out.
Yes. Also, I went to the bookstore the other day, new to me bookstore, a bookstore that I've never heard of before that's in this town, to just browse and buy stuff for my stepsister whose birthday is next week. And I read Loving Frank. I told you that. On Audible. I listened to it, technically. I found the book. As soon as I walked in, the first thing I found in the clearance bin was the book Loving Frank for $1.
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
So, of course, I bought it.
It was meant to be.
Yes.
Oh, yes. You can add it to your collection.
Yes.
Because we're the weirdos.
You can read it when you're here.
Books. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, no, I ordered it already on Thrift
Oh,
Books.
did you?
Yeah. Mine was $6, though. But it's like hard to find, so it wasn't in great condition. You know how Thrift Books has like good, great, not so great. So it was not so great. So if it's ripped in half and I can't read it, then yeah, I will read it while I'm there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thank you guys again for all of you that are telling people about the show and leaving reviews, because if we're not promoting ourselves, who's doing it for us? We're an indie podcast.
It's shameless. You might think it's shameful, but we don't give a shit. There's a button on your phone right now that says skip 30 seconds. Push it a couple times.
Yeah. That's what you do.
Now let's talk about wine.
Yes, let's do that. I'm quickly finishing off a little tiny glass of white from before, but yes, let's talk wine. Today, we are, just in case anyone sees my glasses switch that watches, and they're like, what the fuck? Bitch is drunk. She drinks out of 2 different wine glasses. So today we are drinking Prophecy Rosé. Sierra, I'm sure it's cool enough in your house with your central air that you can show the kids the bottle. Everybody at home. It's such a cute bottle. It kind of reminds me of a tarot card.
It's
in like
amazing.
The best way.
Yeah.
It hails from the south of France with beautiful vineyards across the Mediterranean coast. The wine is delicate and bright with layers of fresh strawberries, raspberries, and a hint of white peach, with a crisp and refreshing finish. Prophecy Wines is a captivating portfolio of wines from around the world, and this particular rosé comes from France. So find it in that section at your liquor stores and enjoy. Nothing says
did you see
rosé.
the lid?
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh my god! I love it even
like
more!
An eyeball.
I didn't even notice because my big sweaty hand was on top of it while I was trying to pour it quickly. It's such a pretty bottle.
It is
definitely
so
going to be adding it to my collection and pissing my husband off because my podcast space happens to be in our bedroom.
Yeah,
Whatever, Kevin.
I have been looking at this bottle like since we started this podcast, and every time I see it, I'm like, I'm gonna get that one time but it's gotta like be a good case. Mm-hmm. Like I can't just waste it on like fucking why am I blanking on
some
his
dick of a serial
name?
killer that we don't want to cover.
Yeah, the first one.
Oh, Ted Bundy. Yeah,
yes,
and we did a trio
because
of
we did exactly. Yeah, I'm like, I can't just waste this on like fucking Ted Bundy. Like this has to be a good case to have this wine. Mm-hmm. And this is our special topic week. Mm-hmm. And this special topic is probably one of my favorites just because of the word and what it means to me. Mm-hmm. So I thought this was a good time.
Perfect segue. Before we vote on what we think of this, have a sip or two. Thank you for everyone that votes on our special topics. If you're not following us on social media, go do that now because we usually post it on there for you to vote. That being our listeners and our pod fam, because we appreciate you guys as well. And if you have any case suggestions or a special topic suggestion, you can send that to our email, twistedanduncorked@gmail.com. Or you can go to our website, twistedanduncorked.com, and fill out that little contact button. Because, like we always say, we work for you guys, and we want to know what you want to hear. So, what do you think of this one?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It
What is
smells
the
dry.
percentage?
It's, I think,
12.
12.
Okay. Okay, I feel like I can judge it less now that I know that it tastes very much like alcohol
Oh, okay.
to me. Yeah, the aftertaste.
It smells dry, I'm afraid.
It is a little dry, but it's not like it's either my taste buds are changing or it's not like the dry that I hate.
No, it's not. It's like subtle
Yeah, the dryness
and
is definitely
fruity.
subtle. It's very fruity, but not sweet.
Yeah. Does the beautiful bottle boost your rating of this wine?
No, I'm still gonna be pretty honest.
What
I
are we
am keeping
giving
the
it?
bottle forever.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
make it
give it.
into a candle holder.
Ooh,
For the
that's
tall
good.
candles? Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I might do that thing where people like cut it right here and make it into a cup. Or like an actual candle, like a big, I don't know yet. Anyway, I'm going to give it 7.5 for the drink, the taste.
I'm gonna give it the same.
Yeah, the chemical aftertaste is weirding me out. But other than the aftertaste, it has a good flavor. It's just really strong.
Just don't swallow it. Keep it in your mouth at all times. It is very strong, especially for the rosés that we've had in the past that have been either really light or really sweet. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Maybe I'm gonna give it a bit, but I'm leaning towards 7.5 too. Before we get into this week's special topic, though, and reveal to you what it is, we are going to hear a quick promo. Go and check them out, and we'll be right back. Okay, so welcome back, and we are doing our first round of our special topic category this time. It is Murders in the Woods.
In the woods.
Sierra and I love the woods. Don't
Yes, the
necessarily
word
love the
woods.
murder part.
The word woods just made me feel like, you know what? We can drink this prophecy wine now.
I agree. So I have lived in Vancouver since I was 10 years old. And as our listeners know, I've always had a fascination for true crime. That said, I have never heard of this story. I have heard of the Babes in the Woods in Pine Grove, but I had no idea that Vancouver's own Stanley Park did as well. So I say that because the Pine Grove one is the more famous version of the Babes in the Woods story. This one doesn't get as much coverage, but it has the same name in the media. So, and by
I have no
babes,
idea
I don't
what-
mean like a girl. I mean like a child. Just so everybody knows.
Yeah, I don't know what the one in Pine Grove is either.
It's the one in the UK, isn't it? Or the one in...
I mean, I know that there is one in the UK. I don't know what it is.
Oh, I don't either. I've heard of it,
Oh.
but I've never heard of this one. So, Sierra also had kind of like a weird witchy moment where she
I did.
totally guessed what I was going to cover for this. so-
Yeah, I Googled murders in the woods and a ton of stuff came up. And I was just, going to like Google's 8th page.
Unfortunately.
All right. I just kept clicking next on Google and I saw Babes in, I think it was called Babes in the Wood. Like there was no S at the end. And I was like, I really want to click on this right now, but I can't because I feel like Alicia's already covering this. But I have to know what it is. And I clicked on it and it said UK. And I was like, oh, I thought she was covering one in Vancouver. I wonder why my brain thought that. And so then I kept scrolling and then I saw Babes in the Woods, Vancouver. And I was like, wait, what? There's another one? Maybe she is covering this.
And when you come
Weird
and visit
second
me,
moment.
I do want to take you to Stanley Park because it's beautiful. It's gigantic. It's got ocean and woods. It's got everything good in it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this is something that happened there, and it's incredibly sad. So,
I like how you just said it has ocean and woods, everything good. However, we
I like
often
the
talk about
beach
how
and
scared
the
we are
woods.
of the ocean.
yeah, I know, but I like the beach.
And we're talking about murders
I'm
in the
not
woods.
going in the water.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get eaten by
We have a
something that's bigger.
love-hate relationship with oceans and woods, okay?
Yeah, we do. It's fine. It's complicated. So are we. It's fine. So, this case is super interesting because after 70 years, the two murder victims were finally identified this year in 2022.
Oh.
Although their murder is still technically unsolved, investigators consider it a closed case and were just happy to be able to give them their names back.
Oh.
On January 14th, 1953, a parks worker named Albert Tom was working in Stanley Park near Beaver Lake. He was raking leaves. It was done as a preventative measure to prevent forest fires in the area. Soon into his work, though, he heard a large crack underneath his foot. When he stepped back to see what it was, he found that it was a tiny skull.
Oh
I
no.
know, that's a day ruiner for
That's
Albert.
awful.
He then found more tiny bones hidden underneath a woman's fur coat against a tree.
Oh.
Albert was horrified and totally done for the day. Completely get that. I think he's allowed to take a stress leave. He didn't report what he had found, though, until the very next morning. And it's unclear his motivation behind why he didn't report it right away. My guess is shock, or he was possibly afraid that he was going to be framed for what he found. Because it was in such a remote area, how would you know it was there, you know? When the Vancouver Police Department arrived the next morning, they began their investigation. They spoke
Did
with
you say
Albert.
he worked there?
Yeah, he worked for the Stanley Park. When the Vancouver Police Department arrived the next day, they began their investigation. They spoke to Albert and they inspected the bodies. The two were believed to be that of children, given their size, and different ages, given that one of the skeletons was much larger than the other. The smaller of the two skeletons had a World War II leather airman's cap, very common in the 1940s era, and a matching cap was laying nearby along with a set of aviator goggles.
What?
Both skeletons were still fully clothed and had shoes. There was also a small metal lunchbox found near the bodies, and the contents of which were heavily rotted, given that it was one of their lunchboxes, likely, and they had been there for quite some time, given that the skeletons were completely skeletized. There was nothing else on them. In addition to the woman's fur coat that was covering up the two bodies, there was a size 7.5 woman's penny loafer, which was a type of shoe worn back in the 40s and 50s, as well as a shingler's hatchet with a broken handle.
I don't know why, but you saying penny loafer just made me, like, deja vu. I've totally heard this story somewhere before.
Weird.
I don't know where, but I know this story.
Weird.
That's weird. Okay, keep going.
After all of the evidence was collected, the two skeletons were brought back to the morgue. The pathologist on duty did their best to put the skeletons back together and determine the cause of death of the two children. They believed them to be between the ages of 7 and 10 years old, and the larger of the two skeletons was thought to be a boy and the smaller a girl. They were assuming at this point that the hatchet was likely the murder weapon, and that the murder had happened more than a few years ago, given that the bodies were completely skeletized, like I said. Looking through missing persons records, though, no one in the surrounding areas had reported a boy and a girl missing between the ages of 7 and 10 years old. Facial reconstructions were done up in plaster of what the two children would have looked like, given their bone structure. Again, what is science? Because that is super cool when people are able to do that.
Yeah.
Facial reconstruction? Like what? It was determined based on the shoes that the two children had on that the murder had to have taken place after World War II, because these shoes were not available until 1947. So that was at least a starting point for investigators.
Interesting.
Images of the... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, another self-promotion
don't
is that our July urban legend has to do with World War II as well.
It does, and it's so good. Images of the plasters were shared in the newspapers, as well as photos of the reconstructed outfits. So, given the heavy decomp of the bodies and the skeletization and how long they'd been sitting there, the clothes that they were wearing were pretty tattered. So, police were able to find similar clothing at different outlet stores around the city. And they were hoping that this would jog someone's memory of the time and they would remember these two kids. Hundreds of tips came flooding in Hundreds of tips came flooding in of people reporting seeing a pair of children at the park that day. Which I'm like,
children usually go to parks.
it's true, and sometimes they're in pairs. So weird.
Sometimes.
One particular tip, though, stuck out to investigators. One woman and her fiancé were going through a very rough patch in 1947, and she was somebody that kept a meticulous diary. Around that time, she had written about seeing a woman with two children, a boy and a girl, walking opposite to her and her fiancé. She was wearing a large coat, carrying a hatchet, and chasing after the boys, trying to get them to slow down.
What the fuck?
Or chasing after the children, trying to get them
Why
to slow
would
down.
she be carrying a hatchet? Why do people just carry hatchets at the park?
Yeah, that's
Don't
alarming.
do that.
I know it's the 50s and all, but what?
God, it's the 50s. Holy, ugh. Don't do that.
Yeah, right? That's just sketchy no matter what the situation is.
I mean, I guess that was their defense mechanism if a bear came. I don't know.
Or
But
maybe they were like going to cut down firewood.
I mean, it seems like maybe she killed her kids, but
I think you're a little on the nose there.
if you see someone running with a hatchet, call the police, please and thank you. Anyway.
General rule of thumb. Hatchet in park equals call police.
Yeah.
Later the same afternoon, the tipster and her fiancé were walking back and saw that woman again, alone, but with only one shoe on. At the time, she thought that it was strange, which is why she wrote about it in her diary, but she was in the middle of a possible split up with her fiancé and probably wasn't really paying attention to the reasons as to why that was happening.
See something, say something.
I know. She remembered hearing the woman call to the little boy when he ran ahead, saying Robbie or Ronnie or something like that. Her diary entry from the day was October 5th, 1947. So investigators focused their efforts on this day. But no other promising leads came about and they were at a standstill. The case had again gone cold.
You're going to make me wait until the end to find out if Robbie or Ronnie was one of their names, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Ah!
Eventually, all of the items of evidence were boxed up and put on display at the Vancouver Police Museum years later. Not long after this, though, it was determined that the woman was lying after DNA technologies advanced enough that they were able to pull a tiny fragment of DNA from the skulls of the two skeletons. And it was determined that it was not a boy and a girl, but in fact 2 little boys. Not only that, but all of this information was available in papers about the single shoe being found, about the hatchet being found at the scene, and it seemed as if she was trying to insert herself in the case. Additionally, she wasn't able to provide a diary entry from that day like she said she had.
This is why I want to start writing in a journal.
So Sierra always has an alibi.
Fuck you guys. Maybe she really did see that. Maybe the little... What did you say? It was actually 2 boys?
Yeah, not a boy and a girl.
Maybe the little quote-unquote boy didn't want to be a quote-unquote boy, and so she thought he was a girl because he wanted to be she. You don't fucking know.
I mean, I love that as a possibility, but it was the 50s, and that's not really an accepted time for little boys to want to be little girls, unfortunately. Rude. Do better, society. But with this is also why investigators keep some details close to home now and don't display everything in newspapers to avoid false confessions.
Yeah.
But with no other place to look, investigators started to flip through old tips that had come in during the time that they had originally released the images in the paper. And they came across a tip that was particularly interesting. A sailor from Esquimalt in Victoria and his wife were walking along the seawall in February of 1948 when they
From
were
where?
Esquimalt is a little city in Victoria, like Vancouver Island.
Okay.
Why? Do you know an Esquimalt, or was that just weird for you?
This is the weirdest word you've ever said.
Weirder than Susquehanna.
Yes.
They were walking along the seawall, and just for our listeners, if you've ever been to Stanley Park, and for future Sierra that's going to go there, it's literally like the path that goes along the seawall that lines the ocean is lined with trees of a forest. So it's really pretty. That's where I mean, like, the ocean meets the forest. So
Who is Stanley Park named after?
the same guy that donated the Stanley Cup.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking this whole time. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's so funny.
I was gonna be like,
laugh and
cool
be like,
flex, but
well,
okay. But
if-
then I was like, the Vancouver Canucks have never won the Stanley Cup, so we're just gonna let that go.
That's so funny. Weird fucking psychic thing again. Oh my god.
Yeah, same guy. So
Definitely going to
arguably,
that park.
yeah, right. Absolutely, he was a cool dude, and it's beautiful. You'll love it. They were cut off on the trail, though, by a woman who burst out of the tree line wearing only one shoe and had gone running off. She was wearing no jacket as well, which was odd given the fact that it was February in Vancouver and by the water, so pretty cold.
Mm-hmm.
All this time, investigators had only looked at tips that had involved a little boy and a little girl and nothing else. It was also thought at this point that was likely their murder suspect. No shit. As of February 15th, 2022, modern DNA technologies finally gave the boys their names back. Police said that the children were brothers Derek and David Dalton. And
The alliteration.
I know. And they were so freaking cute. It makes my heart sad. Based on the timeline of their birth and the encounter in the park, the boys were aged 6 and 7 years old and killed in 1948. Likely by a close relative, given the reports of the woman that was seen with them. And this crazy woman bursting out of the trees wearing only one shoe. In 2021, investigators obtained a DNA sample from each of the boys' skulls and enlisted the help of Redgrave Research Forensic Services, a Massachusetts-based forensic genetic genealogist company. All of that was a fucking tongue twister, and I can't say that word.
That was
so.
a mouthful.
I got it. Nailed it. The Redgrave team was able to identify a maternal grandparent of one of the boys and construct a family tree by comparing the victim's DNA to people who had submitted their own DNA to private companies for genetic testing. Kind of like we've talked about with the Golden State Killer, like multiple cold cases have been solved this way, which is kind of cool, but then it's like also they have your DNA, so do with that what you will.
Don't fuck up.
Don't fuck up, exactly. Once they had discovered the DNA match, there was still a lot of manpower that went into locating any surviving family members, checking school records, and confirming specific details about the victims so that they could be absolutely certain about their identities. The relative that had donated to the DNA genetic people in Massachusetts, her name was Allie Bradley. She was 26 years old, and she was flicking through family albums. She discovered that she had 2 great uncles she had never met or really ever heard of. The older of the 2 boys had blonde hair, blue eyes, and the younger had darker features. When Allie asked her grandmother, Diane, who they were, she found out that they were actually Diane's younger brothers, David and Derek. But they had been born with the last name Bousquet. And then, quote, I remember my mother sharing stories with me about her mother's poverty and how they used to jump out of windows at places that they were renting in Vancouver to avoid having to pay rent because they were so poor. Allie says that she was told that the two little boys were taken away by social services because their mother, Eileen, who was of Métis heritage, was too poor to look after them. Diane remained with her mother. But
Diane, David, and Derek Dalton. Oh my God.
I know,
Sorry.
so cute, right? But when Allie's mom pressed her mother for more information, Diane wouldn't tell her. We don't like to talk about that, they said. That's in the past. So the belief is that the woman seen in the park that day was Eileen Bousquet, and that she had had children with more than one different father, given the fact that only one of the boys' DNA was able to lead to a maternal grandmother in the area. No, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know why only one of their DNA produced anything. Maybe it was too old because it was 70 years old.
Maybe chimerism.
Maybe chimeras. And
bonus episode.
Yeah, go check it out. Derek and David were found to be descendants of Russian immigrants who had originally come to Canada in the turn of the 20th century. They lived in Vancouver and had a family member who lived near the entrance of Stanley Park. So that could explain why they were in that area that day. Because Stanley Park is a pretty nice area, so if the family was living in poverty, they were likely not living in that area. Police said that they believed the person that killed the two boys was likely their mother, and she died 25 years ago by suicide at the age of 78. At this stage of the investigation, it was never about seeing someone charged for the crimes. It was always about giving the boys a name and finally telling their story, said the lead investigator. So that is the story of the Babes in the Woods Stanley Park edition. And it is believed that they were murdered because she couldn't afford to take care of all three children.
Did they ever, I know they said that the hatchet was found next to them, so that's probably the murder weapon. And I know that the guy, stepped on the bones, so I'm sure they weren't in, great
condition. Yeah.
Evidential. Yeah. Do we know that they were murdered?
Yeah. Signs showed that they were bludgeoned to death. Sorry, I didn't mention
did they
part,
say that?
So,
okay.
Yeah. Signs showed that they were bludgeoned. It couldn't possibly be proven that it was necessarily that hatchet, but it had a broken handle, which indicates it was used with force.
Right, yeah. If they were bludgeoned, then yeah, for sure. I just thought maybe since they were poor, maybe they were sleeping in the park and they fucking died of cold.
Oh, yeah. That would have been a good theory. Because that would have made sense. And then if the mom woke up and was, incredibly heartbroken, she would have covered them with her coat and left.
Yeah, yeah.
But then why would... Well, yeah. The one shoe and the running away makes me think that she wanted to get away from what she was doing as fast as possible.
Yeah, I mean, and if they were bludgeoned, yeah. No one would bludgeon someone who's already dead.
That's so sad. On the one hand, I'm not a mom. I could never, ever, ever imagine doing that to my children. I would sooner not eat than take them off this planet. Mm-hmm. But that's the only theory that exists, because Allie, the girl that donated the DNA, her mom says that, her grandma wasn't a violent person. She was always a very caring lover. Yeah. And the suicide is thought to believe that, she felt guilty about what she had done all those years earlier. But very sad. The plasters are terrifying as hell. I will post them on our social media. And they honestly look nothing like the little boys. I
No.
can show you a picture here of them.
Oh, how adorable.
Right? They're so cute. So, yeah, very sad. And this
so
is where that
sad.
they were found in like a corner area of Stanley Park, underneath a bunch of fucking leaves and brush.
Goodness.
Right? And today there is actually a little plaque at the base of the tree that they were found at that says "Never forgotten, always in our hearts." Because at the time, for 70 years, these two boys were not known. Nobody knew who they were. So that plaque is still
Right.
there. I haven't seen any recent updates as to whether or not somebody, made a new plaque for Derek and David, but yeah, super
How
sad.
sad.
Yeah.
I'd rather believe that it was an accident and they died from the cold.
I would really rather believe that too. So that's what we're going to believe, and that she felt really bad and put her coat over her two boys.
Yeah, and I mean, that still would cause someone to want to complete suicide and feel guilty, like not being able to care for them. I saw the other day, oh my God, I want to cry just thinking about it. A dad in Georgia
No, I already don't like where
forgot
you're going
his
with this.
fucking kid in the car.
Oh, he had a mental
He had a long
health
day at
break.
work. Well, no, it was an accident.
Oh, no, there's a separate case that I'm thinking of that she had
No.
mental health issues and she didn't
No,
even
this is
know
a
he was in
dad.
the car.
A dad was supposed to drop his kid off at school and forgot to, or daycare or whatever, forgot to. And so the dad later on went out to the car, had the realization, holy fuck, I forgot to take my kid to school. He's still in the car, went out to the car, and it had gotten so hot that day that he died in his sleep, the kid. The dad brought him in the house, laid him down on the bed, called his parents, and was like, I fucked up, and ran out to the woods behind the woods, and shot himself.
Oh my God.
Because he didn't want to live without his kid. Yeah. It's fucking heartbreaking.
Oh my God, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Those things happen, people. Can I just say, as a parent, I understand the people who are like, how do you forget your kid? Life is fucking stressful, especially right now. If you have to do something, leave something in the back of your car so that you remember you did. Sometimes you just, oh God. Sorry.
Especially if it's like a new parent and it's like a baby and you're sleep deprived.
Yep. Sleep deprived. Like, I can't count how many times I've driven to work and zoned out the whole way. I don't even know how I got there.
Yeah.
I was not paying attention the whole fucking drive.
It's actually very scary how easy it is to go into autopilot when you're driving.
Yeah. So when you're in autopilot in the morning with your kid, there's a whole bunch of people who are like, leave your shoe in the back seat with them. Leave your phone in the back seat with them. Leave this or that in the back seat with them so that you remember. And of course, there's all these other assholes that are like, if you have to leave a phone or your shoe in the back seat just to remember you have a kid, then you're a bad parent. No, you're not.
That's coming from an excellent parent that's saying this.
Thank you. This is fucking 2022. Life is stressful. Things are happening. Your mind is elsewhere. You do the same routine every single day. If you have to leave something in the backseat with your child to save their fucking life, do it. Do it. Why take the risk?
Yeah. The one that I was thinking
it hurts
of
my
is
heart.
very similar, but she was found to have had very severe mental health issues. And she drove to work, didn't even realize her kid was still in the back seat. And he was 4 years old. She came out after her shift and he was dead. And she was arrested for, child endangerment and all of that kind of stuff. But that happened in a southern area in the States as well. So it was already really hot.
It's so fucking hot right now. Y'all, fucking leave a shoe or your phone in the backseat.
Yeah, heat doesn't do anything good to your memory either.
I know that your phone isn't more important than your kid. That's not what I'm suggesting.
But most people need their phone to work.
Exactly.
So.
There is a process that we go through every day, and if you...
Phone, wallet, keys.
Exactly. That's what you have to go inside of your workplace. If you have to give those things to your child so that you remember... Not remember that he exists. Obviously, your child, or she, or they... Obviously, the child exists, but to remember that you haven't done that part of your routine yet. You know, like, oh, I'm sorry.
No, this is a really good
subject
PSA
gets me so mad because I have so many family members that are like, how the fuck could you ever forget your kid? And I'm like, God, I hope that never happens to me. I can see it.
I know people that have left their kids at the grocery store.
I'm stressed out all the time.
And then they've gotten home and been like, fuck, and driven back. And their kid's like crying at the customer service stand. Like.
Yeah, the minute that I read that story, it was after I had come back from the grocery store. And the minute that I read it, I was like, Bubba, come here. And he wasn't answering me, and I was like, Bubba!
Did I leave you at the store?
No, I thought I left him in the car.
Oh, God.
Like, if your kid falls asleep in the car, you know?
Yeah, that's really
I ran to his room, and he was like, what? And I was like, I was just making
There
sure
are
you're
people
okay.
that purposefully leave their kids in the car because they're going to be gone in just a minute. Those people are assholes.
I've done that before, too.
No, but
I mean,
not when it's
8
super
million degrees,
fucking hot.
and also only when I leave the keys in the car and lock the doors and give them the talk. You know, they're old enough.
Yeah.
But, like,
you've never left a baby in the car purposefully and gone.
Yes. Also, don't leave them in the car if they're sleeping, because if the car stalls and they're asleep, they can't unlock the doors.
Good
My kids
safety
are old
advice.
enough to unlock the doors, but I will not if they're tired or sleeping, because they could fall asleep, the car could stall, and then, you know, they don't know to unlock it. Anyway.
No, that's good.
I didn't mean to derail your story, but
while we're on that topic, stop leaving your fucking pets in the car also.
Oh God, that's a whole thing.
Yeah,
your pets literally can't open the door if they get too hot. They're
also
capable.
covered in fur.
Yeah.
So, this guy, I'm sure everybody has seen it, and I think it was 2017. The video went viral. He did a test on himself. He left the windows cracked on a hot day. He had a little temperature gauge in his car, and he was like starting to panic. He was sweating. He was like, and it was like, I think 5 or 6 minutes. So when you hear a dog, I don't know if it's the same in the US, you can tell me. But here, if you see a child or an animal in a car on a hot day, for more than like 5 minutes, you're legally allowed to break that car's window.
Oh yeah, here it doesn't even have to be 5 minutes. You're just allowed. Well, I don't know. Let me say, because I don't want to lie to people and get people in trouble. In Virginia, where I was a police officer, yes.
You could do that.
Any amount of time you're allowed to break the windows, and you won't get in trouble for it.
Yeah. You could be saving somebody's life.
Yeah.
I did that for a really big husky once.
Yeah, we had to do that. Well, we didn't break the window. Luckily, the car doors were unlocked, but we almost did. When I was in Virginia,
check the car door before you smash anything.
Just
also,
no, but someone left. It was summertime. It was when I was a police officer on the base in Virginia. Someone left their dog in the trunk of the car. You could hear it whimpering.
Oh my God.
And someone called us, and they were like, I'm pretty sure there's a dog back here. And we're like, what? How do you know? You can't see it. And they were like, we can hear it. And we came out there.
Because dogs
and we're like,
make that squeaky bark when they're panicking and they're uncomfortable. Oh no.
Yeah, and we opened up the trunk and got the dog out. And we're like, you're not allowed to have this dog back, okay?
Yeah, fuck you. Who puts their dog in a trunk?
Yeah. They were
that's serial killer behavior.
Yeah. I think the back seat was laid down, maybe. I don't know. The cage
Still
was
not
in the
okay.
trunk.
Still not okay.
And they were inside of the store, and the car was not on. And it was sad. Anyway, God, we got really derailed on the sadness.
We did. And it's funny that we say that because one of my mom's friends has a Tesla, and they have like a pet setting on the car.
What?
Yeah, it leaves the air conditioning on in the car while you're like gone. And because it runs off of electricity, right? It's not like you have your car started the whole time. And there's a little screen in Teslas, and the screen says, I'm okay. The air conditioning is on. My owner will be right back.
That is so cool.
Because so many people were having their Tesla windows smashed, and then their dog is totally fine.
Yeah.
So she leaves, her dog's name is Kaylee, in the car all the time when she goes grocery shopping, because she brings her everywhere with her. And she's like, She doesn't want somebody to smash her car. So she puts
That's
an extra
so
sign in
cool.
her window, like the air conditioning
Yeah.
is
Oh
on,
my
she's
gosh.
okay.
Okay, well, that's awesome. I love that. Eventually, I'll have a Tesla when they're not $80 billion.
Yeah, right.
Also want to
Because
add
we're here for electric cars.
a quick happy story.
Yeah, please do.
Funny story at the end is there's this post going around on Facebook of a person who got their dog sorry, I'm trying to think of the word.
Can you tell that we're dog and baby people, guys? God.
What is the word?
A puppy treat? A pup cup?
No, like
the whipped
stuffed.
cream thing? No. Oh, taxidermy.
Yes.
Oh,
they taxidermied their dog.
Oh, that's creepy.
She said she loves him so much. He had cancer. He died. She taxidermied him and takes him with her everywhere.
That's
and leaves
creepy.
her leaves the dog in the car, and people have been smashing her window. And so she put a sign in the window that said, "I'm already dead" or something.
No!
But like with a happy face, like, "I'm already dead, happy face. Don't worry, I'm a taxidermy dog."
Because, yeah, if you saw a dog leg totally still, you'd be like, he needs help immediately.
It's so funny and kind of cute, but also
so
weird as fuck.
morbid.
And
I love it. Yeah. Not for me, but you do you, because grieving comes in different ways.
Right.
Oh my God, that's funny though. Can you imagine? Like, God damn it, my dog already died. Now I gotta get my windshield replaced.
Right.
Fuck. Yeah, don't do that to her. That's funny.
Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. Hopefully
Good
you
one.
have something fun to end our episode on with. What day is it today, Sierra?
I do. Today is July 12th. And on this day in 1916, Ludmila Pavlichenko was
Nailed
born.
it.
Ludmila would later become known as Lady Death, or to the Nazis as the Russian bitch from hell, because of the killing spree she went on during the Second World War.
Oh, I think I've
Oh my
heard of
God.
her.
This is like the
How
fourth time
on
we've
the
said
nose is
Second World
this?
War this week.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, Ludmila killed 309 German Nazi soldiers while serving in the Red Army.
Jesus
She is
Christ.
accredited as the most successful female sniper in recorded history.
Get it, girl.
Yes.
I mean, I know a lot of Nazis were just doing what they were told, but still not okay.
Yeah. A lot of conservatives were doing what they were told when they rushed the White House. I mean, the Capitol building. So anyway, you don't have to keep that in there if you don't want to. Anyway.
No, very true though. Yeah, I like that. So weird. We're on a Second World War kick, apparently.
We are. How strange.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Derek and David Dalton. Sweet little babes in the woods. And we will see you guys next week for Sierra's special topic, Murder in the Woods story.
Yes.
In the meantime,
Keep it twisted. Hey, listeners, and thank you for coming back to hear your shout outs.
Yes.
We have 3 new reviews today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our first review is from 987654321 Squirrel. I just realized that it was like the fucking numbers backwards.
I love
as I was saying them.
That's
987654321 Squirrel.
I was thinking 8675309. That's not right. But your name is awesome.
This review says, "The Lighthouse drew me in. Just started, but so far these gals are awesome. Got pulled in with their guest star Zandy and the Lighthouse Mystery, which was a great episode. Love the fun facts at the beginning and am excited to get through the catalog."
Aw,
Thank
you
you.
so much for listening.
987564321 Squirrel.
Yes. And the next one comes from Steffi G 2020 on Apple Podcasts. They say, such a fun new find. I am so happy I found your show. You two have fabulous chemistry and keep me interested the entire time. Perfect mix of humor and serious content. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Steffi G 2020.
Yeah.
And the final one for this episode that we're going to share is from TNN6. It says, grab a glass of wine and listen to this podcast. Like hanging out with friends in the best way. Hosts have great chemistry and cover interesting as well as important topics. If you like true crime and paranormal stories, definitely check out this awesome pod. Cheers.
Aw, cheers.
Thank
to
you so much, TNN6.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, thank you. And I am pleased to announce that the winner of our Patreon for July is 986-764. I can't do it.
987654321.
Squirrel. Thank you guys so much. For those of you that left us a review, we will, if you are this person, can you please get in contact with us with your information so we can send you the login details? Yeah, we'll give it to you for a full month because I know this will come out a few days into July. So, yes, thank you so
definitely.
much. And
Also, the other 4, the other people who were entered for the month of June, if you want to be re-entered, the other people who were entered for the month of July Patreon, if you want to be re-entered for the month of August, all you have to do is leave another review somewhere else. There are multiple different places to leave a review. You don't have to do it on Apple Podcasts every time. You can leave a review on Good Pods. You can leave a review on Audible. You can relieve. That sounded weird.
is somebody dying?
You can leave a review on Podchaser and I think Castbox or something. Anyway,
Yes.
There's a couple places.
And Audible. Did you say Audible?
I did think anyway,
If
I don't
not,
know.
you did. Yeah.
We drank a lot on this episode.
We
y'all.
really appreciate it, though. It's really how other people find us, short of you yelling at people on the street, which we don't want you doing. So we appreciate that a lot. And yeah, we will see you guys next month for this little draw. And thank you so much. Thank you for listening to Twisted and Uncorked Podcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can also check out all of our sources and materials, as well as photos for the episode, on our website at twistedanduncorked.com. And you can follow us on social media at Twisted and Uncorked or Twisted_pod on Twitter. Thank you so much for all of your love and support, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode. Cheers!